Make selections and add masks. How to make a selections and add masks on Photoshop on the iPad. Make selections and add masks. By the way, making selections and adding masks are two powerful ways to edit selective areas and add effects to your campsites. By the way, yeah, like this screenshot now. Easily create accurate selections and masks in Photoshop on your iPad. And how to make a selections? How to make a selections here? If you want to make a selections, how to make a selections here now? A selection is with one or more parts on your image, by the way, by selecting specific areas, and you can edit and apply effects and filters to portions of your document while leaving the unselected areas untouched. And what about double tap? Double tap the Lasso tool from the toolbar, and to bring up more selection tools, you can select areas of a layer with Lasso, quick selection, rectangular marquee, and elliptical marquee, like this screenshot. Yes. And when you tap a selection tool, the associated tool options appear. From the tool options, you can choose whether to add to your selection this icon, subtract from your selection, and or select the areas that intersect with the current selection, like this screenshot now. When you make, by the way, when you make a selection here now in this screenshot now, when you make a selection, the active selection properties appear at the bottom of the workspace. It gives you the option to deselect and mask, erase, and invert and transform the selection or select similar. And selection tools. Selection tools select with the Lasso tool. And the Lasso tool is useful for drawing freeform segments of a selection border, and to select using the Lasso tool, tap this icon, and as you tap Lasso, choose from the tool options that appear and simply draw a freehand selection to proceed. How to add a selection? Add selection is meaning add to selection icon is meaning next selections will be added to the current selection. This icon is meaning add to selection icon is meaning next selections will be added to the current selection. Subtract from selection icon is meaning next selections will be subtracted from the current selection. And select the areas that intersect with the current selection icon is meaning select the intersection of current and next selection. And the Lasso settings icon is 3-point icon is meaning feather. Select the number of pixels to feather the edges of a selection. And look at this screenshot now. Lasso setting. We have a Lasso setting. Select with the quick selection tool. The quick selection tool allows you to quickly paint a selection using an adjustable round brush, and as you drag, the selection expands outward and automatically finds and follows defined edges in your document. Double tap the Lasso tool from the toolbar to bring up the quick selection tool. This icon is meaning as you tap the quick selection tool, choose from the tool options that appear. Okay, so what's meaning this icon? Add to selection. Next selection will be added to the current selection, and subtract from selection. Next selections will be subtracted from the current selection. And brush size. Brush size is meaning determines the pixel size of the quick selection tool. And hardness is meaning the hardness setting control the size of the brush hard center. And quick select settings is meaning enable and disable use brochure for size. That's great. So look at this screenshot now again. Quick select setting and use brochure for size. Select with the marquee tools What's the meaning? The Mercury tools allows you to select rectangles and ellipses to make a Mercury selection, and choose one of the Mercury tools and simply drag over the area you wish to select. And if you have a physical keyboard connected to your iPad, you can also press M Shift to select the Mercury tools and the rectangular Mercury tool. This icon is meaning makes a rectangular selection. And look at the screenshot again. Mercury setting. If you choose Mercury setting, you will find the feather option and the style and rectangular Mercury tool and the elliptical Mercury tool. This icon is meaning makes an elliptical selection. And what about add to selection? If you want to add a selection tool, next selections will be added to the current selection and subtract from selections. And actually we're talking about this function before that. Okay, we need to complete again now. Yes. What about active selection properties? If you want active selection properties, what about active selection properties? Once you make a selection, you can see active selection properties at the bottom of the workspace. Like we have many options. Deselect. What's meaning? Deselect is meaning deselects the current selection. And mask is meaning turns the current selection into a mask for the layer. And erase is meaning allows you to erase the selected area. And invert is meaning invert the selection so that the deselected area becomes the selection. Transform is meaning allows you to transform the selection. Then select similar is meaning adds pixels to the selection that are similar to the ones already selected. Look at this screenshot again. We have transform selection, then select similar, and we have option deselect and erase and invert and more. More options on taskbar. More options, this icon is meaning more option on taskbar is cut is meaning allows you to cut a selection or layer. And copy merged is meaning allows you to copy a merged selection or a layer to be pasted over another layer. Like this screenshot, cut and copy layer and copy merged and select all and load as a selection. This icon is meaning more. Three point icon is meaning more. If you want more option, cut and copy layer and copy merged and select all and load as selection. Apply masks. How to apply masks? If you want to apply masks, you can use masks to hide portions of a layer and reveal options of the layer below. And the masks are non-destructive, which means you can go back and edit the masks again without losing the pixels they hide. And a layer mask hides part of a layer from view, and a clipping mask uses the contents of one layer to clip or hide the contents of one or more other layers from view. That's great. So what about layer mask? Layer mask, you can create a layer mask to show parts of a layer and hide others by turning a selection into a layer mask, or by painting on the layer mask after creating it, and in areas where the layer is masked or hidden and the layers below are visible. And masking layers is a variable compositing technique for combining multiple documents into a single document or for removing unwanted objects from a composite. And create a layer mask from a selection. How to create a layer mask from a selection? We have many steps. Step number 1. Make sure the layer you wish to mask is selected, and simply tap a layer thumbnail from the taskbar to select a layer. Step number 2. Create a selection using one of the selection tools. Step number 3. Tap the layer mask icon on the taskbar. and you can view the selected area while the rest of the layers gets masked. And from the compact layer view, you can swipe left and right on the layer thumbnail to switch the view from layer view to layer mask view, and both thumbnail are visible on the detailed layer view. And how to create a layer mask and edit the mask with a brush. How to create a layer mask and edit the mask with a brush. We have many steps also. Step number one, make sure the layer you wish to mask is selected and simply tap layer thumbnail from the taskbar to select a layer. Step number 2, tap the layer mask icon on the taskbar to create a mask. Step number 3, tap the brush icon and to brush. And step number 4, set up brush properties as desired and choose black to fully mask where you paint. And step number 5, paint over the mask layer. And clipping mask. A clipping mask allows you to use the content of one layer to mask the layers above it.